How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming, I've been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This will be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
Hello, gentlemen, and Charles. How are you guys doing today?
Hi.
How's it going?
Our man Terry's got the frog sound going to him. He's a trooper coming through. You know why, Terry? You know why Charles Terry's here? Because last time we did Gulfstream, our man Terry and Charles, but Terry had it twice. Charles had it once, the pick six, and I got run over by the two-headed monster over the Hydra of horse racing picks, Terry and Charles.
The dynamic duel.
The dynamic duo. Yeah.
Yep.
So if I had to guess Terry's Batman, you're absolutely Robin there, Charles.
That's all right.
Hey, you know what? I'm sure Robin had his fair share of fans too. No
I'm
question.
sure he did.
Oh yeah.
Didn't get the cool car or the cool outfit, but certainly was a part of the show.
Well, he kept
Batman. Maybe I get the younger girls.
He kept Batman straight, doing what he's supposed to do. So.
That's right. He was the good devil on the shoulder of Batman's otherwise bad shoulder. So all right, guys. So today we're going to go ahead, like we do on every Saturday. We're going to try to hit a jackpot, if you will, today at Gulfstream Park. Gulfstream Park, I think it's about what 200 and let's look it up. 254,000. I'm sure it'll be higher than that by the time the horses hit post for race number 6. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it'll be at least $500,000.
You think it'll be at least $500,000? Yeah, right now, as you can see on the Equibase site, it stands at $224,189. And quite frankly, after going through it, I wouldn't be surprised if it rolls over. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think
I think it'd be hit today. I can't.
I'm not saying I can't be hit today. I'm saying I think it could be difficult to hit today because I feel like this card it's kind of a tough card. I think
it is. Yeah, there's a couple of key races I think is good, but
well, you got deep fields in the races where the horses are favored, where you think they have the best shot to win. So the trouble could come up. All sorts of things could get in their path, which I think makes the structuring very fun. All right, before we do that, before we put together our team pick six, which is what we do. Each one of us, in case you don't know the rules, has a lock. You can lock in a horse, and the other two can't do a damn thing about it. And you can veto a horse, right? And then in order to put that horse back in, you'd have to use your lock. So a little strategy as to who gets to put the ticket together. We also put together our own tickets before we get started. Where we have a hot dog pick for less than $20. You can see Terry's ticket and Charles' ticket. I'll put mine up in just a minute here. Just looking at the ticket structure, it does look like, looks like Terry thinks race 7's kind of open. Race 6 looks like a race for Charles with a little bit of uncertainty. But he wants coverage everywhere. So it kind of indicates to me that maybe Charles thinks it's not an open card either. I have a single in there just like Terry, just a little bit different race. Our prime rib pick 4s, where we can spend a little bit more money. These are taken.
Hey, Rich, can you put up your microphone a little bit closer to you?
I'm sorry. And Terry, you're echoing too. So sorry, Terry. But there is our hot dog pick 6s. You can see where we get to spend $100, which is Terry's favorite thing. Again, Charles and Terry going a little bit deep up top. Terry still wanting coverage across every race. Charles singling the 9 in race number 9 here. Interesting that he didn't do it back in here, which I find interesting that he didn't do that in the hot dog picket. We'll get into that conversation later on. And then I'm over here. I don't have any singles anywhere either, but I feel like that first race is the one that really is the most difficult in the entire sequence. And if you can't make it out of the first one, you got no chance in the other 5. What was your strategy, Charles?
Well, yeah, like for me in that, especially with my hot dog one, why I went instead of a single there is on my bigger ticket. I believe anytime you bet over $40 or $50, you should have a single somewhere, no matter what. If it's a pick 3, pick 4, or pick 5, doesn't matter. I believe there should be a single. If you don't, why are you playing it? But if it's under, that amount, hey, try to hit something just in case your single doesn't quite come through. Have your backup be there.
A little bit of a price ticket.
Yeah.
Terry, how about you? What's your thinking today in putting together this pick six?
Well, I think the first leg is open quite a bit, but that second leg scared me the most. It looked to me like they were really even in there.
Mhm.
And I agree with Charles about the singles. As a matter of fact, yesterday in the pick six, I had 3 singles. Unfortunately, only 2 of my singles won. The third one died at the end there, but I still hit 4 out of 6 straights, the 6 of the legs. That's not great, but it's not bad either.
No, not bad either. So, all right. So let's try to hit all 6 today as a team. That is the goal. Let's see if we can accomplish our goal today. So, race number 6, first up, 5 furlongs on the all-weather track. 5 furlongs on the all. This is for claiming 12,500, which not won 2 races. So all these horses are trying to get their second W. At 5 furlongs on the all. Well, before we do that, guys, I said this is the one I felt like was the most wide open. Usually in our strategies, when we're putting our tickets together, we want to focus on the race that we feel like has the least amount of horses and build our way out from there. Do you guys agree with that approach?
I mean, that's fine either way. Yeah.
Where do you want to go straight down and then prune?
I'll let you guys decide on that. Either way, I don't care.
Okay,
I
screw
don't-
it. Let's go
yeah.
straight down and then prune. I think that's a fair way to go too. So let's do
Okay.
that. And if we have to make changes, then by golly, we shall make changes as the ticket progresses. All right. So in race number 6, again, as I was saying, that one is 5 furlongs on the all-weather. 5 furlongs on the all-weather does favor horses that have some early speed. 35% of them go wire to wire. We do our simulations here so that we have a sense of who does what as the race progresses. This is what the race shape looks like. The 3 and the 4, they're the pilot types. They need to be on the lead to win. The 1 and the 8 are your co-pilot types. They want to kind of sit in the catbird seat, as Charles calls it, and then try to capitalize late. Looks like the 1 horse does have the most early speed. Of the front runners, the 3 should be right in there. As they're coming down the stretch, gentlemen, the 7 horse, Temerity, has the most late pace, a pretty good advantage over everybody else in the field by about a length. And if we look at the race from start to finish, the 7, the 3, and the 5, a little bit of an advantage over the rest of the field and chance to run a complete race. And we also put together simulations on this end for early speed. That's here. We use speed figures to look at perhaps what the fair odds might be based upon 1,000 simulated races and how often each horse wins. And we have our C-zone score, something exclusive to horse racing today. Based upon the early pace, the horses with the higher numbers are very likely to have trips that they're very comfortable with. All right, Charles, Terry, one of you take up your thoughts on the early speed here and some of the simulations.
Okay, I'll do the talking because I know Terry's probably would be start coughing or something. The 3 horse is going to take the lead at 38% chance at the Portico, most likely. But there's plenty of speed in this race. I mean, look at the 1 at 31%. But everyone's got a little speed to question that 100%. So, as we all know, in this type of race, it's really who gets a good clean break.
Mm-hmm.
Really does help a lot. Simulation odds, we look like we have an overlay at the 5.
Nice one.
That's a really nice one. 3, basically almost 3 to 1, and morning line is 12 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. And the 10, 2 to 1. At 5 to 1. I think that's a very nice overlay also for that horse.
So if you look at this race, I think this is one of the reasons why you got every horse, every single one has some chance to get the lead. And pretty much all of them, except for the 5 and the 6, can get a trip that's pretty comfortable for them. So I think this one opens up to be wide open from the jump. With that in mind, Terry, we'll let you get the first pick since you had 2 pick 6s last times we met at Gulfstream. So you, as they say, have honors.
All right. Well, I like the number 3, Noble Dreamers.
I'm vetoing it.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
He's kidding.
Okay. Well, Noble Dreamer finished 3rd in her last race, and she should improve at the shorter distance. She has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and they added blinkers today to keep her mind on business.
Mm-hmm. So looking at Noble Dreamer, let's take a look at this in the past performances that we get from Brisnet. Unfortunately, we haven't struck a deal with Brisnet yet, We would like to. Certainly, the horse does have a good success record at Gulfstream Park. Done so 8 times in the money 6, almost as good as Terry's pick 6 the other day. And the all-weather here, horse has definitely been competitive on the all-weather. 4 times out, 3 wins, 3 seconds and a third. My concern here, Charles, and chime in on this when you have a moment, is this horse is a money burner, folks. The horse has been the favorite the last 2 races, got towards the front, faded in each one of them, faded. The only race really it didn't fade was right back in here. That was his first race after more than a year in the barn. This pattern here shows to me a tiring horse.
Well, it might show that. Yeah, you're on the pattern on paper. It does show that basically, yes. But I don't think it is tiring because remember, look at this horse. This horse is changing barns every time too. So that's another thing that kind of makes it a little different. Believe it or not, it's not the same routine. Even though, yes, they get fed breakfast, dinner, they get to go out on the track and jog around, but it's still all different. You got different handlers and everything. So just like any animal, like if you take your dog somewhere else and leave them, they're nervous. They're not comfortable.
And also, it's got a jockey change that might ride this horse a little different, and that blinkers. Maybe the horse kind of slowed down and let something catch up to it because it could see something. So maybe the blinkers will help.
Also to note, it is catching over here, and it's something you got to kind of. They don't note it up in here, but it is a horse that's catching second-time Lasix over here. And a lot of times we've seen horses that catch second-time Lasix do better than first-time Lasix, and the horse does have early speed. So I love the combination of early speed and Lasix. I'm just worried a little bit after this horse, after being off for 18 months or so, that it's showing tiring legs. Maybe the Lasix makes a difference today. I don't know, but I certainly think it's a vulnerable favorite, and that's why I think this race is deep. But it is a horse that you got to have in here because of these 2 factors right here. All right, Charles, we talked about the 3. Which one are we going to talk about next?
The 7.
The 7. All right. So what's your thoughts on the 7?
This horse ran second the last 2 times. This one has that tactical speed, I believe, that could sit right there and do whatever. If he finds himself on the lead, then so be it. The jockey gets 12% overall. And as you know, if you look at his races, it kind of fits with these groups.
So Charles B saying race 6, the 1 horse E-type. So speed type off the layoff, great angle at Gulfstream Park. Indeed. Well, I think I have the 6 horse in my pick, so we'll probably get to that one next. Looking at the 7 horse, Mr. Charles, your pick. Here's Find Your Passion with Paco. That's my advice for everybody with their life. Find your passion. So this is a horse, Charles, that has faced up against Noble Dreamer a couple of times, right? And did beat that one. So perhaps you want to put that one in front of Noble Dreamer. It did finish behind Noble Dreamer here, though. So it looks like one's improving. Maybe the other one's going a little bit backwards. I do like the fact that this one has, and we talk about this pretty regularly, improved late pace last time out. That's a positive to me. But you see here, you have an 84 and then a 79 in the middle, and then a second wind, an 85. That's what I define as a Z pattern. It should probably be more like a V pattern. I think maybe I'll rename it a V pattern. But in that case, it's a horse I do like. Terry, what about you?
Yeah, I like this horse. My second pick. First of all, this horse likes the distance. And I think if the 3 gets any pressure at all and fades like it's shown, this 7 is going to have a good chance to close and catch that 3 and whatever other front runners up there. So
let's go look at Charles B's 1 horse over here, gentlemen. That one it's Nora Now. As he mentioned, coming off the break. In the previous runs off the break, the horse said, didn't really fire yet. Here, it does look like it had a chance on the all-weather track. It did break its maiden, and this is one of the things I pay attention to in these racer horses looking for a second win, and we learned this from Steve Matthews. I give that credit where credit's due. At maiden claiming 25. This one broke its maiden at maiden claiming 16-2, so I prefer to 1 on that grounds. It's usually some form of test in terms of its ability. That 3 horse maiden special weight 60,000 though against state bred, so you might have to discount that a little bit. Down here you have maiden claiming 7,500. That's probably about as low as it gets. Maiden claiming 12, so it's coming off the maiden win in the 8th try. Not too confident that one will go back to back. The 6 horse over here, maiden claiming 35. So one of the higher ones we've seen so far in this mix. And then you have the maiden 12.5. Again, another low number in there. Makes me a little nervous about that one, Charles. This one doesn't go far enough back. Same here. And then here you have a maiden 25 on the 10. So the one horse does concern me a little bit off of the mid maiden claiming, but it is lightly raced. The all-weather, the one lone wid did come on the all-weather. I do like to see that. That was in the second race off of a layoff. So maybe this one might need a second start, guys, before it hits its peak, or do you think it can come off the bench with these pedestrian workouts ready to win?
Yeah, I think it needs another race for at least for me to see it run. It hasn't ran since December, and the workouts to me aren't that fantastic. So I'd like to see a race.
Charles, I actually have it in my hot dog pick for, I think.
Well, I mean,
my prime rib, not my hot dog.
There's only one negative to this horse for me. There's only one, and it's when it came back from a layoff in October, and then it didn't race again until December, and now we're waiting another layoff again. So it tells me that there is some kind of soreness going on with that horse. I don't think it's nothing major. I'm saying it's soreness, and that's why you get that space there. Workouts, I'm not worried about. As long as they're consistent and dates, I'm fine with. But that's my only negative about the horse. I would like to know more about the trainer too, because some trainers eventually say, "Hey, they're not super sore. I'm going to still race them."
Mm-hmm.
I like to know the type of trainer we have on this one. I don't know this person. They could be an excellent trainer, all I know, and have this horse 100%, sound itself today.
Well, they don't put too many out there, Vernon Allison. He's only run 9 times so far in 2023. So it is a tough call. 1 of the 9 won, and then 4 of the 9 finished in the money. So 4-year-old, let's see, everybody, there's another 4-year-old in here. Sometimes age matters. 7-year-old, maybe that one's a little on the long in the 2 side. Another 4-year-old. So it looks like it's in terms of 3-year-old, in terms of age, in a good spot.
To me, I think it's right now a maybe. I wouldn't, be totally against it. Let's put that away.
I put it in my I do have it in my prime rib pick for, because I do think this race is wide open. Yeah. One of the reasons I like the one horse in here, so if we go back to here, the one horse has a really good shot to be on the lead. It has a pretty decent C-zone score. If you look at the other horse, the 3 horse, which is the one we started off with, the one that also has a chance to be up on the lead, but that C-zone score is a little bit longer. So maybe it's Nora now will feel more comfortable on the lead than actually the 3 does, who I think is a vulnerable favorite. I started off with the 6 horse in my picks, guys. Either one of you like that 6 horse at all in there? Noble Dreamer?
Yes, I do.
I do too. It's my 3rd pick.
And what do you like about the 6 horse? I'm not the 3 horse. The 6 horse. Find your passion. I'm sorry.
Love my job, right?
No, it's find your passion. The 6 horse.
Well, I like it. I mean, it was my 4th choice. Like we said, this horse has got speed, but if you toss out that last race, which, it just eased, so you can't even get any reading off of that. It's dropping big time.
I think the reading I get off of that, Charles, is that the trainer, Bobby DiBona, put the horse at a level it just can't compete at. So the jockey at that point in time, Luis Saez, when the race was over, just said, I'm not going to push him anymore.
Yeah, it could be true. I mean, it just depends how the actual break was,
Mm-hmm.
If the horse broke very slow and everyone took off way in front of him, yeah, you never know what the real truth is. But hey, the drop there, and look at the trainer, he still does get 20%. So the trainer does something right.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I think this horse is very dangerous, and especially with Paco aboard.
And what do you say, Terry?
I like this horse 3rd. It has a highest less speed rating. And also, it has a trainer who who wins 21%.
I think you're talking about the 10. We're talking about the 6 horse. Find your passion.
Oh boy, yeah, you're right. I got it screwed up there. So.
All right. So for me, I like the horse making its 3rd start off the layoff. I do think you have to toss this race out because it was going perhaps against a level that it just wasn't prepared to compete against, coming off a claiming $16,000 race for sure. I would be concerned if the horse didn't follow up that March 30th with any workouts, but does have a pair of workouts since then. And this last one right here, the April 21st workout of 47-1 on Gulfstream dirt, that's a pretty good fast workout right there. And
Well,
the
and that
fact,
first one on the 15th, by the way, that's for the stewards. You have to work them out half mile or further for the stewards, because when you ease in a race, or if you lose by more, and well, every track's a little different on this aspect, but if you lose by more than, let's just say 20 lengths or 25 lengths, you have to work out for the stewards and the state vet, by the way, too.
well, there you go. There's something you learn every day. I did not know that, to be honest. Did you know that, Terry? No, so the fact that the stewards and the state vet, if that's how it operates down in Florida, looked at that horse and determined that it's sound enough to run again, and they came back with that workout, I'd have to say that's a pretty good workout then, right?
Yes.
All right, Terry, now you want to go on to your 10 horse? You want to move on to Love My Job as the next horse in here?
Yeah, let's do that. And I'm sorry about that. I got those two mixed up there. But
what happens?
Anyway, what I like about this 10 is it has the highest last speed rating. This trainer wins 21% of the races when taking a horse from route to sprint. So I think it's a good play here.
And it does also have a positive ROI on that number. Charles, what are your thoughts about this horse with the top last race speed figure on grass, now cutting back from a route on grass to a sprint on the all-weather, where the horse it did show some speed here, but doesn't really show any speed yet in the sprints. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it doesn't show much in the sprints, and that was my only concern. But this is my second pick, so I think this horse is definitely dangerous, and it drops. I just wish I could see a little bit more speed in those sprints that he did do, but he did win at 5.5, so maybe he's good condition and he'll be a good closer.
Yeah, maybe he's in good. Well, there's no question he's going to be in condition. I don't think that's a doubt after he showed. One of the things I like to see when I'm looking at a horse here, you do see that the horse moved forward last time out, and then prior to that, the horse was way off the pace. That's the indication to me of a horse that's absolutely getting more fit. I don't think there's any question. I've seen that over and over and over again. So I do like to see that. But what I don't like to see, as we mentioned, is when it runs in the sprints, it doesn't really get forwardly placed. And it can struggle. And I think it'll be very much pace dependent. If the pace is hot, it'll have a shot. If the pace is not so hot, its race could be over by the time they hit the quarter-mile marker. In some respects, I prefer the one horse because I do think the one horse will be forwardly placed. And in these sprints, having a horse that is forwardly placed and has a shot, I think they just have a better chance to win than a horse that has to come through traffic, especially in a deep field, find its way through traffic and get to the winner's circle in that respect. So I have the 10 in my picks too. Actually, that is my second pick. So I probably shouldn't say that, but maybe in hindsight and reflection, the one horse with the early speed might be the better route.
And I was in between the 1 and the 10 for my picks. And I took the 10 over the 1, but I had a hard time with that.
So should we put them both off to the side and work our way down and see which ones come in next then?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So let's move off to race number. Is there any other, first of all, that you guys want to consider? Was we talked about half of the field in race number
6? I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, so am I.
Race number 7, 1 mile and 70 yards on Charles's favorite surface. Hey, man, I thought they were only going to use that all-weather track when it was raining down there, when they couldn't run on turf or dirt. Hey, now they run them all on there. What the hell's going on? Get off my lawn.
When they built this doggone track, they said they were going to use it for when it rains or when they take it off the turf. One of the two. So
Charles is that guy sitting on the porch, hands on his belly, kind of rocking on his chair, sleeping. And if anybody steps on even a toe on his lawn, get off my lawn. And
that's right. My lawn, damn it.
Yes, and he sends out the German Shepherd to chase him up. Race number 7 is 1 mile and 70 yards on Charles's favorite surface, all weather. Surprisingly, you do find that, well, not surprising. It's 50-50. Maiden claiming 35, so you could be on the front, you could be on the back. The post positions are fair. Only 11% go wire to wire. So I think this distance and surface really does favor the best horse. If we look at our simulations for race number 7, we do see that the Charles, since you're going to handle this to give Terry's
Yeah.
voice a rest. Tell us
Okay.
about the overlays, the early speed, and the C zones.
All right. It looks like the 5's going to have a 40% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole. The 3 might have a say in that with 36% chance of getting that lead. You got a couple others that might push them along, but I think those two are the leaders going around this track today on this race. Your overlays here, simulation odds. Look at the 1 there, slightly over 8-1. You got 20-1 morning line. Not a bad overlay there. The 4 at slightly over even money, and we got 4-1, 4.5-1 on morning line. And then that is it when it comes to overlays on the simulation odds. And the C zones, it looks like the 4 and the 7 and possibly even the 8 has an excellent chance. They would be very comfortable in this C zone.
So far, I've noticed with the C zone, and we haven't been able to put it in total, totally unlock its value. But I could tell you, race after race, yesterday in that first race in Keeneland, that 4-horse one had the top early pace number in terms of the percent to be on the lead, and also I think the top C zone score. And what I'm starting to find is when they have a combination of two, they're horses that you want to consider. Here you have the strong C zone and the overlay for the 4-horse, so that's a pretty good shot. The 7 is borderline on that because the 4 fair odds, 4 versus basically 4-1, and the strongest C zone score. So I'll smile again. Might be one in there that pops up in there as a factor. Our race shape. Let's see if there's anybody who gets any advantage in race shape. Well, the 6 is a first-time starter, so we'll talk a little bit about its chances. The 8-horse hasn't been within 5 lengths of the leader when they crossed the finish line. So that one maybe is X'd out for right now. Reduce the race count by 1. The 4 and the 5, those two look like your pressure horses. So one of those is likely to be up on the lead. If we look at the recency bias, it does look like the 3, 4, and 5 will be the quickest when the gates open. The 3 is a closer. So that would be what we call a left arrow horse. Horse that's all the way in the back, but early pace puts it in contention right from the get-go. And as far as the late speed is concerned, the horses that will be chugging late, the 3 and the 5. So we see 2 numbers there popping up again. And then our race from start to finish does look like the 3 and the 5 stand out over the rest of the horses in this respect. Gentlemen, Charles, Terry, you go ahead and you start again, my man.
Okay, well, I like the number 2, Tio Tony. Was only beaten 2 lengths in his last race versus similar on the turf, and has a trainer who wins 28% of the races in maiden claiming races, and that he has an entry in. And his best all-weather track speed is the fastest among today's starters.
Charles, what are your thoughts on that 2-horse?
Well, I mean, I thought the horse might have a shot, but I did not put it in my top 4 picks because I think it's down to me, it's a 2-horse race personally.
The 3 and the 5?
Between the 3 and the 5.
I honestly didn't have the 2-horse in my picks either. I had him like 6th ranked in there. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing that you and I are completely one place and Terry's in another. And the reason I think it could be a plus is because if we're split like that, I'd imagine most of the folks that are going to make their bets are going to be split like that.
Yeah.
And if the 2-horse did come home first, it would be one that might cut the ticket count in half, right?
Yeah, and what he's picked up on is this horse has done well at this distance, really, if you really look at it. When it goes a mile and 70 yards, the horse is right there in contention. So, that I did have it 5th. I was, debating on that for my price horse, but I ended up not having it in my top 4. Let's put it that way.
Well, they are running on all weather, and some horses like that. Some horses don't like that.
Right.
This one appears to like that because it's done it 2 times and came home as the winner. So although I didn't have it in my ticket, I'm not opposed to putting it in there. Are you going to veto it, Terry? I mean, Charles?
I'm not going to veto it, no.
And Terry, are you going to lock it in, or am I going to be the mean guy?
No, I'm going to lock it in because if you look at that last race, it got bumped. If you look at the mile and 70 that Charles referred to, that was a pretty darn good race. And I just have a feeling about this horse. It actually didn't come up with my top numbers when I did my, spreadsheets. But after looking at the race and thinking about how this race is going to go, I liked it, although I do feel that this race is pretty darn wide open.
All right, well, Terry locked it. You see that little strategy right there I employed on him? I manipulated him into his lock, Charles.
Get him in a lock.
No, I had thought I was going to lock that because I had a feeling you guys wouldn't, be that. up
Hey,
on it.
after reviewing it, and that's why it's just like sitting around with your buddies at the track or at your favorite OTB or wherever it is you make your bets, because your OTB is in your hand now. So if you're at the pub or whatever, it's just talking about the horses and what we like about them, what we don't like about them. Charles, what do you got next?
About the 3.
All right, so the 3 horse definitely graded out as one of the top ones. What's your thoughts about the 3?
He drops in class today. He got tactical speed, which he could go out in front or he could sit second or third. Maker gets 19% from turf to all weather. This horse does show even on paper that he could keep it up with no matter what type of speed and class level. So, very interesting. And then with the charts up there, what you came up with, it just makes it even more so.
So what I like is when you're looking at these races here, these maiden 35,000 and the maiden races, I think the drops are where the key really comes to matter the most. So this one's basically running level 35,000. It's the second time at it, but it got a crack at it and really didn't perform any better than it did at any other level. So D'Antonio, maybe not a toss, but this one's running at the same level as last time out. But I guess the mitigating factor for me now is the fact that it went 2 for 2 in terms of second place. That's the Chris P angle. If it finishes second and only had to beat one other horse to get the W. This one is made an optional claiming 50. So I think that one's taking a little bit of a drop down in class. The 4 horse made in 25, kind of moving up a little bit in class, although it did run here somewhat competitively. So maybe a Ranseur is one to keep your eye on. This one making its second start as well at this level after running in some higher. In this race here's kind of interesting to me. Tells me Laura Cazares thought they actually had a good horse there. The 6 making its first start. We don't know what it's going to do, although we do know that trainer David Fox has won 2 out of 7 when he debuts at less than a mile. But he hasn't fared as well debuting in the maiden claiming ranks. That ROI there is pretty nice. The 7 horse, this one is dropping in class theoretically, but it did run maiden claiming $25,000 before. It did so competitively. So I'm going to put that one as maybe a flat to maybe down a little bit, but not that much. So, and then finally the 8 horse maiden claiming 12-16. This one's definitely moving up. So as far as all the horses in this field are concerned, the 3 horse is really your only true class dropper.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah, he's dropping in class, and I also like the trainer a lot, of course, and the jockey's pretty darn good. It was my second pick.
Charles B says it's either the 2 or the 3 wire to wire for him, and that's kind of where we're starting at, the 2 and the 3. And I think the only other horse that I feel like we have to absolutely put in here in consideration, based upon what we saw in our charts, is that 5 horse, gentlemen. Now that one is, let me pull up my notes. I'm handy. I trying to do 15 things at once in the background. Ensign Skip, which is the 5 horse. That one has taken a trip across the all-weather track 3 times, finished third in all 3 of them. So it's certainly not afraid of the surface whatsoever at all. It is the one that I mentioned that the trainer back here ran this one in a $200,000 stakes race. It didn't really compete very well, and it was also on dirt, so maybe a surface that it doesn't like because they've tried all sorts of things. The horse is making its 3rd start after a layoff. This is the 2nd time the horse ran at this level. What impressed me about its last race is if you look at these numbers in here, you had some really strong early improvement. And sometimes those numbers can be fake based upon, or at least, let's say maybe not fake, but they can be misleading is probably the right word. But what tells me they're not misleading, both of these races were a mile on the turf. Both were firm. And if you just look at this fraction difference right in here, all across these numbers here, and you look at its lengths off, the horse was basically ran a much, much faster race last time. That's an indication to me that that horse is absolutely fit, and you're going to get its best effort most likely today. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that go if it can answer the all-weather question.
Yeah, I like the 5-2. Of course, was my third pick. One of the things I really like about it is that the trainers wins 23% of the races in the third race off of a layoff. So that's pretty good, amount.
And Mr. Charles?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, I thought it was really a two-horse race. There is probably one more other horse we probably should look at. Maybe the four.
The 4? Well, it looks like Christopher D'Souza. He likes the 7 down here. So I'll smile again. So let's take a look at the 7 horse.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, the one thing I wish this one was running on turf, because if it was running on turf, I would say it would be your runaway winner off of this one right here, right? Off of this race. And hopefully it rains down there. Well, now I wouldn't change it off to all weather. They wouldn't go from all weather to turf. But that race right there was one I would be like, yes, if this is on turf, there's your winner. My only concern on this one is that on the all-weather track, it really didn't perform as well as I would have liked to have seen perform in that last one out. Though sometimes with these lightly raced horses, which is what we have here, the horse absolutely can kind of have a lull in the second race and then rebound in the third race. Kelsey Danner does have a really strong maiden to maiden claiming angle right in there. 30% winner and a 74% in the money with a plus $1.13. Terry, I know you mentioned before many times when we talk about these using these Brisnet forms, actually does get the top Brisnet power score. So do you guys think maybe we should follow Christopher's lead here and toss that 7 in there?
I like the 7. It's my fourth pick. So
What do you think, Mr. Charles?
Yeah, it's my fourth pick also.
It was actually my third pick. So that's the one I had in there as my third pick. So are we going to put this one in there and then maybe talk about the 4 and the first time starter?
yeah, let's do that.
All right. So let's go ahead and put the 7 in there. All right. So, man, we're spending a lot of money fast. All right. Let's move over to the 4 horse. Well, let's start with the 6 horse, the first time starter. As we mentioned, do you see anything, Charles, in the workouts or in terms of the horse's pedigree? Because I know you're big on pedigree, but the pedigree scores number here say this horse is probably one of the lighter bred horses in the race.
Pedigree doesn't jump out at me and make me all happy. And the workouts, I mean, they're spread out good enough, but there's still not much there for me. I mean, the great thing is that the dam itself, has 5 winners, five from 5 starters, and one of them's a stakes winner.
Yeah,
that's a very good thing there, right there. So that's the only positive in my book for this horse. I do like the trainer.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, first timer going a mile and a 70, that's tough.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad number for Mr. Farkas, though, 28%. So I think that's one you have to think about. I probably want to see what this horse does before I put him in a race as a pick, but I wouldn't be shocked to see him finish in the money. Maybe winning is a bit of a task. And then finally, the 4 horse, the last one we're going to look at, Ranseur. I think that the top case for the Ranseur could be made by its over here. It is your morning line. It's one of the like the 3rd or 4th pick morning line. But according to our simulator, it is the top pick in here with a very, very strong C-zone score.
And that's what I think makes him very dangerous. I mean, this horse was claimed last time out. He does have that tactical speed to sit and wait. Ran 3rd last time out. Trainer gets 13%, 46 plus days off. So you got a nice fresh horse here.
Yeah, I like this horse too. I picked it as my 5th pick. As I said, this is a wide open race. So,
well, do we go put another one here and try to work our way down from there so we don't get knocked out, or do we just go on to race number 8 and come back?
Let's go to 8 and come back.
All right. Let's go to 8 and come back, says Mr. Terry. Any others that you guys want to consider?
That would be it in that race.
No, I don't have any others.
We talked about all of them anyway, right?
Pretty much.
All right, so in the 8th spot, they're going to run 5 furlongs on the turf. It's a handicap for $60,000, 3 years old and up. 5 furlongs on the turf does favor early speed, 32%, so basically 1 out of 3. Take them from gate to wire. You do have a small inside 3 bias. 4 through 7 play a little bit under par. 8 and out, there is a penalty, Charles. So speed is going to be a factor in the 8th race. So let's go ahead and look at race number 8 simulations, see who's going to have the lead.
Well, it looks like that 8 horse at 68% chance is going to have lead at the quarter pole. And then the 5 might be pushing that horse along, but I don't know. But after the quarter pole is more the question, I think, in this race, who's going to have the lead. And there's plenty other horses in here, especially the 5 and the 9, I think, are very fast themselves. Simulation odds, we got the, looks like the 9.
Dressmaster, yes.
Yeah, basically at even money, and 2-1 at morning line is your only overlay in this race.
Yeah, it is the only overlay. Our pace set up for what are we in, race number 8, right? Sometimes I lose track of where we are. Race 8. You have plenty of horses in here, like a whole bunch of them that want to be up on the front. So, Terry, did you see the Lakers game? Someone wants to know if you saw the Lakers game. Terry, are you a Golden State Warriors fan?
I am, but I didn't get the game. With what's going on with me, I went to bed early. So
yeah, because Terry's not feeling well. You can hear it in his Barry White-esque voice this morning. Maybe he can drop a few Barry White notes for us.
There it is.
Rake 922. Who won that game? I don't even know.
I don't know either. Did they cover? Because I know my friend who went to Deadwood said he's going to bet the Lakers laying 4.5. So you got a lot of early speed in this race, what you would expect at 5.5 furlongs. And of that early speed, you got 3 of them that stand out, the 2, the 5, and the 8. Full disclosure, yes, I am free in Warrior's Pride. Of those, the ones that'll have the most late pace, well, you do got the 9 up there, the 6. Pretty competitive late pace-wise. I think they'll all have a shot at the end. And then connecting the front to the middle to the back, Chessmaster, that one horse that did rank out as the only overlay, does get the top score here too. I do worry a little bit about the outside post for that horse, for one that wants to close, could get caught up in traffic and so forth, make a little bit of a difficult trip for it. All right, gentlemen, let's see. In race number, I got these things all mixed up now.
8.
Race number 8. Let me go back to here and pull up our chart for our team pick 6. In race number 8, I'm going to start it off this time around. And I'm going to start it off with the 8 horse. I'm going to take a flyer right off the get-go. I'm going to lock this one in. So no need to manipulate me or nothing in that respect. I do think we'll get to the favorite coming up, but I like the 8 horse in here, Warrior's Pride. I'm going to go with a flyer with Chantel on a speed horse. She likes to run up front on those horses, and it's where she does best. This one has some really, really good workouts getting ready for today. So if we go down here and look at race number 8's workouts, it is coming off of a break, been off for a little bit. But if you look at these last few workouts, last ran on September the 6th. But look at some of these workouts, 34-4, that's blazing. 47-3, that's cooking as well. 45-1, that is insane, Bolt-esque. And then here you have another solid workout in there too. And then this horse coming off the bench did show some speed, did fade a little bit in here, did show some speed and win here. But I think what we're going to see is Yes, I'm Free is the morning line favorite, most likely. They did run 3 times. Yes, I'm Free got the better of it twice, but one time back in here, Warrior's Pride did get the better of Yes, I'm Free. So if we get this version of Warrior's Pride today, which was first off the bench, and it does come home as the winner, we're going to get a good price on that one. So I'm locking in the 8 horse. What do you got for the next horse? Or where am I wrong, Terry and Charles?
Well, you're lucky that you locked it in. I would have vetoed it. Okay, so we'll go to number 9.
Uh-huh. So you're going to go with the 9 next? I put the 9 5th.
Okay.
So I might veto you. In fact, I'm going to veto you, Charles. I'm going to force you to use your lock-in or to defend this horse. Or maybe Terry can make it 2 out of 3. So go ahead. What do you like about the 9?
Well, he has tons of speed. You toss the last one out. Maker gets 17% first after a claim. This is the horse that I think is the one to beat, period. I think this is one of the must-haves. There's at least 2 horses in here that are must-have, and this is one of them. The only negative about this horse is
that you picked it? No.
is the outside post.
Well, there's a few more negatives than that, in my opinion, Charles. I think the most glaring of which is the horse has tried Gulfstream Park. It's tried it 4 times on the grass, and guess how many wins it has? We have as many. We also have as many places. We also have as many shows. So this horse is going to have to do something at Gulfstream Park that it's not done before, and that's finishing the money. And it'd be one thing if the horse was dropping a class, but it is running at level that it's run at before. So it's not like it's not like it's going to get a break in here. And it does make me a little bit concerned that the horse hasn't found the formula yet in South Florida.
Well, you vetoed it, so why are we still talking about it?
Oh, so you're not going to lock it? Well, I mean, maybe. All right. Well, forget. We won't talk about it anymore. All right, Terry. Unless you want to talk about it, Terry.
Well, I like it as my third pick because one of the things is the best dirt speeds is fastest among today's starters, but it is my third pick.
Yeah, I think we're going to run on turf, though. And I agree there. The turf it does have that. I mean, it's very consistent performance. There's no question about that. For me, that 0-4. And another thing that's an 0-4 on here that made me a little bit concerned is the jockey trainer combination here of Michael Maker and Miguel Vasquez. They really haven't clicked. They've run together 8 times and they haven't gotten a win yet, and only in the money 2 out of 8. So there's a few negatives on that horse, which is going to be one of the favorites, I suspect, based upon the morning line. And if you got a chance to toss one out, why not? Right.
But
all right, Terry. Well, who was your first pick?
I like the 5, the favorite. Well, maybe not the favorite, but Yes, I Am Free. You know, this horse checks all these. It's in its wheelhouse for this race. It's won 8 out of 16 races at Gulfstream, and it's won 9 races at today's distance. So it's got a lot of potential there, and it's been very consistent the last 3 races. So I like this horse a lot.
Charles?
Oh, I like the horse a lot too. I think he was one of 3 horses that was one of the top choices in this race.
That you absolutely have to. And it does have that early speed. Maybe you look at this fade at the end of last race, and maybe that concerns you a little bit. And it has to be a concern. There's no question about it. But one of the reasons I kind of let it slide a little bit in there is it was running against better class. If you look at this horse, has been running at the graded stakes races and non-graded levels. And then the last time it ran at this level, it did win by a nose. You see, it's been typically facing tougher horses for quite a while. And the other reason why is in this last race, if you just look at those fractions, the horse ran pretty fast early on, a little bit quicker. So this is essentially the same race as the one behind it. So I don't really think the horse tailed off that much, just caught a horse that ran a better race that day. And that's going to happen sometimes in horse racing. And I'm not so sure that anybody else in this pack is going to be able to repeat what the horse did that beat it last time out. So that is also a pick for me, the 5 horse. So I'm pretty good with the 5 horse in there. Who else do you guys want to consider?
How about the 3? He's won 2 out of the last 3 races, finished second in the last race, and has won 2 out of 3 races at today's distance. So another one that fits in this race.
The Famous Gent at a nice price too, Terry. What about you, Charles?
I have the 3 as my third choice. So yeah, I think the horse at least got some talent, and it will be picking up the pieces at the end. So yes, if they go slow, then this horse is done. But if they go pretty good, and it could be running at them pretty fast at the end.
Yeah, to me, that is one that will be coming at the end. And will they run fast? Well, we talked a little bit about this back here. You have a whole bunch of horses back in here that want to run fast. As far as the late pace is concerned, my concern might be on this 3 horse is that although it wants to close as the lone closer, it's got a couple of horses in front of it that should be in front of it that have as good, if not a little bit better, late pace numbers, including that 9 Chessmaster, which is a EP type. So it's a toss up for me. Are we going to put that one in or put it off to the side?
I mean, either way, I think the horse is good. I think we could put it in. It doesn't matter.
Terry, you want to put him in there?
Or you want to put it on the side? Doesn't matter to me either.
All right, so the 3 horses are going to go in there. Well, we got, we have to figure out where we are, Terry. So I hope you're keeping kind of track. One other horse for me in here, I was going to take another flyer in here, which was the 7 horse. I think I couldn't have put it on my ticket, but it's one I was absolutely thinking about, and that's Charmed. 20-1. Let's take a bomb in here. And a lot of the reason is some of these horses have squared up against each other, and Yes, I'm Free beat most of them. So I think if you're going to look at horses that have raced against each other, and Yes I'm Free has beat most of the other ones, then you got to maybe find another one that you can make a case for that might get a better shot at it. I know it didn't do it here, so probably isn't going to do it. But I do like the fact that the 7 horse does have, if we look over here, and this is something that, we have to kind of be careful of because it has burned us in the past with some nice winners. That 7 horse in race number 8 does have one of the strongest early pace scores with one of the best C-zone scores. So just on that alone, I think it's one you have to consider, but not one that necessarily has to be in your picks. Maybe one that fades to second or third at the wire. You guys want to throw a bomb in there or put it off to the side?
I didn't have the horse at all, so I think we should go outside, but
I didn't either.
All right, so we'll put them off to the side. So Charles B, race 8, easy single on the 5 horse. E8 off a 42-day break. So Charles is all over that 5 horse. Again, I think, too, that's the one to beat. But the only horse I think personally that has a shot to beat it is that 8 horse, if it can repeat the last time the 2 met after the 8 came off a bench. Otherwise, I wouldn't put anybody else in there myself. Any other thoughts on this race, or do we go on?
Go on.
All right.
Yeah, you can go on.
Race number 9, 5.5 furlongs on the all-weather. A little bit half length longer than the first race that we started with, race number 6. Favors early speed, 27% of the time they go wire to wire. The post positions play mostly fair, although there is a little bit of an outside to inside bias in race number 9. If speed does matter again. Got a pretty thick field here with 11 horses, and the speed looks like it's on the outside. There were a lot of folks inside that one have a shot, so I think the 11 horse might have a real hard time getting to the front. It's going to definitely have to push to get there, which might speed this race up a little bit.
Yeah, 44% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole, but I think the 3 is going to go out there at 30% chance of having that lead. I think it's going to be difficult for that 11, so I'm going to call it right now. I say the 3 will have that lead at the quarter pole. Simulation odds, the 3, basically 1 to 5. In morning line is 3 to 1, and that is it when it comes to simulation odds.
Back in race number 8, Christopher bringing up a horse, the 2 horse that none of us have, the 5 horse. I mean, the 2 horse. Maybe one we should go back and reconsider. And I got to tell you, whenever that happens, it always makes me nervous because when that race comes, that 2 horse will be one that I have my eye really tightly on entire way around the track. And of course, it'll definitely be a contention at the end, scaring the hell out of us. Or
that
beating
was my
us.
4th pick. The 2 was my 4th pick.
Yeah, the 2 was your 4th pick. Hey, all right. I like how Charles does that after the fact. Like he just piggybacks on just in case.
No, it is my 4th pick. So,
all right. Well,
my 4th pick was the 6.
All right. I don't remember who my 4th pick was. Our way to the winner's circle worksheet for race number, what are we on? Race number 8, right? Or are we on race 9?
9.
Race 9. Yeah, good. We're halfway home. Race number 9. Once again, you got a lot of horses in here, but this one looks pretty balanced. You got 5 that want to be on the front, 6 that want to be towards the front. Pilots or co-pilots. The 3, 5, 10, and 11. They have one when they go wire to wire, so they might be a little bit lead dependent. The 11 does have that early speed advantage a little bit over the rest, so wouldn't be surprised to see it in the 3 get out to the front and really push. The 7, well, you're pilot, co-pilot type, we'll keep in touch with them. Later on in the race, as they come down the stretch in this short one, Corduroy Road will be one that should be there, not too far off the pace, so maybe this one gets a really nice trip with that 9 horse. It does look like it has an opportunity to get a trip to its favor because it sits right behind the 3 as the best combination of early speed and late speed. Charles, Terry, your turn again, my man. You go ahead and tell us which one you want to start with in race number 9.
I like number 7, Heals the Soul. This horse has won 3 of her last 3 races in a row. She has the highest last speed rating, and I kind of like this horse. So,
Mr. Charles?
Well, for me, I like the 3.
Well, we're not talking about 3.
The Heals of Soul, yeah, he's doing fine. I like him. I think the horse is there. He won the last 3 times at this level. Why they stay at this level? There's a reason. And I mean, he's worth the bet, I think, but that's about it.
Yeah, that was my concern too. Is why is this horse staying at this level? Why are they not moving it up? And it has beaten some horses in here, like Corduroy Road, the 9 horse. It's also beat a High Priest, I think is the name of the horse, or Handsome Prince, excuse me, which is Terry, right? He's the Handsome Prince. The trainer coming in here is, at least that's what everybody tells us anyway. When they ask us who's their favorite, it's always Terry. Colin Marat, he's a 10% winner, but looking at off the claim, hasn't won, claim repeater, small data set though, so maybe today can make that number go away. Also with that high top last race speed figure, it came along with much faster fractions early on in here. So, well, about the same as this race back here, but a little bit quicker in terms of what it was able to bring to the table. I don't know why this horse is still in this race either. To be honest with you, you look too at the all-weather here, and you look at the distance. I mean, everything says this horse should win.
There is issues with this horse. I mean,
but what are they though?
The owner wants another win.
That could be true too. But no, there's issues with this horse. I mean, you look back when they way before Kent even lost him. You know, they kind of kept him. The horse did well. They moved him up a little bit, but the spacing of the races, and then they drop him down to where he belongs. And you know, basically they were holding him together, basically. So what's the holding together? Who knows? You could have heat in a tendon, you could just have a little soreness in joints or the hip or anything like that. It's things that you could get away with after about 2 to 3 weeks of rest.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just that fact that the horse is staying at the same place is a concern to me. It's coming off the claim, so the same claim. The purse, let's see what the purse is. The purse is 21,000. So you know, get the purse money, get the winning money. If it wins a 4th time in a row, it's going to be a profitable transaction for the owners as well. So I can't find a reason to throw it out, to be honest with you. Yeah, all right, Charles. Yeah. So you said you wanted to talk about the 3. So
yeah, you can't
fire away with Mon Forte.
Well, I just think the 3's got the best speed of this group. I think the 3 is he drops in class. He ran even last time, but second start after a layoff, trainer gets 21% with that angle. So, I mean, I really like that horse a lot.
Charles, I mean, Terry, what's your thoughts about that 3?
I like the 3 also. It's my second pick. You know what? One of the things I like is that she likes to win. She's won 6 out of the last 10 races. She finished 4th in her last race, but she drops in class today. So that I think that's going to be a big key. So.
Well, the horse is making its second start after more than a year in the barn. So this start does concern me a little bit because you don't know how it's going to respond in the second start. Over here, you saw its second start when it had some time off here, kind of faded off a little bit. Over here, the horse actually improved. So the record in that respect is a little bit 50-50. The workout since then on March does have a couple of workouts, decent workouts. They're definitely looks to me with 3 furlongs in the interest of getting that horse out in a hurry. It does look like when the horse does get out in a hurry, it does do pretty well. So I think that's the idea today is to get this horse out front, Charles, which is what you think the horse is going to do, and see if anybody can catch it. If they don't, off the class drop, which I think is a possibility, that could be a tough one to beat. Charles B likes the 5 horse in here. So let's move on to the 5 horse. Untitled. Lionel Reynes, Safi Joseph Jr. I almost screwed that one up. First off the claim for Mr. Joseph. 39%. Oh, look at this number. It's going to drop off the claim for Mr. Joseph. That's a 39% angle for a horse at Gulfstream Park. That's been all or nothing on the all-weather. However, it's only got 1 second out of 3 races. Hasn't really run this distance before because, as you can see here, for the most part, it's been running just a little bit longer. So first time that it's gone from one of these short sprints. I actually do have the 5 in my selections, gentlemen. What do you guys think?
I mean,
I don't have him in my picks anywhere. So
with the 5, my question was, can he get a sprint? Mm-hmm. I mean, I liked all those other angles, but those angles don't work if the horse can't do it. He did show some speed in 6 furlongs before, but that's 6 furlongs too. You know, this is a pure sprint. So I don't know. It did not make my top 4. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's not in mine either.
Mine neither, but and if you look at that 6 furlong, it's got a 101 speed rating, but but that's the only time it got up close to that. So there was something going on that one day. Maybe it really felt good. I don't know.
Or maybe the track just played really fast that day. It does have a bunch of 80s and 86 in there. That is a number, and it's also on dirt though, and they do have a lot of speed down there. So what do you guys think about? But the one thing that really makes me nervous about this is this drop off the claim 40% winner for Safi Joseph. That really scares me. But it does look like when Safi and Lionel Reyes team up, it's either win or nothing. Almost looks like to me, because only a third of the time it's been in the money together, and only winning maybe 3 out of 24. So not the biggest win rate. What do you guys say? Put him off to the side? Do you want to put him in there with that 50%, 40% angle?
Put him off the side.
Yeah.
Put him off to the side. Any other horse that you want to talk about in race number 9?
I like the 6 Telephone Talker, ran second versus similar in the last race, and she has the best all-weather speed among today's starters.
Charles?
It wasn't in my top 4 picks for me.
I do think this one's going to be a little bit slow out of the gates too. Last time out, I mean, although it showed that it was up front, these speed numbers are pretty low for the early pace. I think it'll have a really difficult time compared to some of these other horses you're keeping up. I do have it in here as my 4th pick, just because when you look at the all-weather score, it does have this 98 back here, which is the highest by far. So if it can run back to that, it can make a laugher out of this race. My other concern in here too is that it's not one that likes to win at Gulfstream Park. Looks to me like this one likes to be up there in the mix and then start looking around to see who's going to pass it at the end. Second start off a layoff back here, really nice jump on that one. And here you had a really nice decline. So this horse is going to do one of two things in this race. It's either going to pop forward in a big fashion, or it's going to go backwards in a big fashion. It is going from a route to a sprint. So that's a negative for me on this early speed, because again, I mentioned these early pace numbers are slow. Now it's going to go to a sprint, and which most of the time route speed doesn't add up to sprint speed. So I think this one's going to really struggle to be towards the front where it wants to be. What do you say, Charles?
Yeah, that's why it didn't make my top 4, because I just didn't think about going from routes to sprints is just not for me on this one.
All right. So are we going to put him in and put him on the side?
Put him on the side.
All right. So the only other horse for me that I was thinking about in here was the 9 horse. Anybody have any thoughts on Corduroy Road?
Yeah, finished third versus Tougher in the last race. And she drops in class and has a trainer wins 23% of the races and claiming races. So that he has an entry in. So yeah, my 4th pick.
Mr. Charles?
That's my 3rd pick, but I still think it's between the 3 and the 7.
So as far as I'm concerned, taking an eye look at this horse, you see some really nice early pace improvement here at claiming 16,000. So this one's moving down a little bit in the class. So I like to see that it showed that early speed. I think that speed will hold longer. And again, to confirm that those numbers are kind of accurate, if you look at the fractions here, they were a little bit quicker too relative to where the horse was, because the horse in that prior start was 5 lengths off, 4 1/4 lengths off. So clearly the horse ran faster last time out. Does have a pretty good record on the all-weather track with a good score in there. And it's been at these short sprints, just missing 2 times out with a 2nd and a 3rd. And if you look at that, it's a combined 1 3/4 lengths between those two. So this is a horse that, quite frankly, could be undefeated with a little bit of luck at either one of these distances. I wouldn't be shocked to see this one factor. And also what I like in here too is in both of those races where it did finish close, one it closed and the other it showed speed. So they're a really versatile horse.
Yeah, but I mean, I still think it's a 2-horse race.
All right. 2-horse race, 9 off to the side. Terry?
Yeah, that's fine with me. Yeah, I agree. It's a kind of a 2-horse race also.
All right. Well, we have a bunch of horses up there. All right. Race number 10 is 7 furlongs on the dirt. In this one, the second to last in this pick 6, I do think because of all the disagreement that we're having today, that this one's going to roll over tomorrow, folks. I think there's a chance. Race 10, 7 furlongs. The bias does favor early speed. 27% of the horses go wire to wire. There is an outside to inside bias. In race number 10, let's go ahead and look at the way that our simulations say it might play out. It looks like 2 horses have a good shot to have the lead, Charles.
Yeah, the 1 has a 47% chance of having that lead at the quarter pole, and so does the 3 has a 36% chance. You know, those 2 probably will be winging it pretty big. So I guess depends who actually breaks from the gate first. And then when it comes to simulation odds, we have the 4, slightly under 3-1. We got 4-1 morning line, and then we got the 5, slightly over even money, and 2.5-1 on the morning line.
And just about everybody should be in a space that they want to be in, maybe minus the 3 horses. High C-zone scores across the board. The 4 and the 5 maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but still have a good shot to be where they want to be as this race progresses. As far as where they want to be according to their prior races where they've managed to come home winners. In the 10th spot, we're looking here at the 5 horse. Reddington wanting to be on the lead. He's won when he's gone wire to wire. He's going to have to work maybe to get that today because Nick's Bro does have the best early speed, followed by Big Daddy Dave and Big and Classy. All of them are pretty tightly knit, but it looks like Nick's Bro might be the one that they all got to run down. If they do run him down, the 2 and the 4 and the 5 have a good shot to do so. And then the complete picture shows that it's a competitive race except for maybe Braccio di Ferro. That one might have its work cut out for it, the 7 horse, to find its way into the winner's circle. So, Charles, is that where you want to start with the 7 horse for you? That sounds about right.
Yeah, it does sound about right. But today I think I'm going to hold off on that. I'll start with the 5. The 5 ran second last time out, cut back in distance. Second start after a layoff. Trainer gets 18% going from route to sprint. I think this horse is ready to rock and roll.
Mr. Terry on Reddington.
Yeah, I like Reddington. It's my second pick for the same reasons that Charles was talking.
So I have Reddington as actually my 5th pick. It is likely to improve off of the second start after a layoff. So I think there's an opportunity for that. It's a strong in the money horse. There's no question about that. 7 out of 10 in the money. At the fast track, 7 out of 9, which is what we're going to see today. 2 out of 3 at the distance in the money. But the one thing I do concern myself a little bit with here is that this horse tends to hang late, right? You see that most of its action has come on the back end. So this looks like an exacta trifecta horse to me, not necessarily a winning horse, Charles. Why is it going to break that curse today?
Because the speed up front, it'll set up for this horse much better.
Is this one that have you used your lock, Charles, yet?
No, I have not.
Are you going to? Because I'm going to veto it.
You can't veto it. You already did. You already vetoed another one. I mean, It's my first pick. It's Terry's second pick.
So we got to put him in there. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
Put him in.
We got to put him in. All right, Terry. Who else do we got to put in?
Okay, we need to put in 4, Big and Classy. Has won 3 races in a row. Has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. I think this horse is just as good or better than the 5.
And Charles?
I agree. The 4 is my second pick. This horse is ready to rock and roll too. He won the last 3. Paco aboard. How can you say no to that horse?
Well, I could say no to that horse, and it's the same reason I kind of want to say no to the 5 horse as well. Although I do hold the 5 maybe in a little bit higher regard. But if you look at the races on the dirt, I mean, just a second and a third, maybe not a fan of the dirt. If you look at this race, this 3-race win streak, which clearly catches the attention, probably going to catch the attention of bettors too. They were all on all weather. So it seems to me that this horse is either an all weather, because I think that the off track kind of emulates the all weather or turf more than fast dirt does. So I think this is an either all weather or turf horse. I don't think it's necessarily a dirt horse. And until it shows me that I can run against good quality and actually beat it, I'm going to fade it.
It also has, though, the best prime power number.
But I think that's based upon, the efforts that the horse has put together on the all-weather track, not necessarily the dirt track. I don't know, guys. You're going to put that one in there. See, for me, I want to go with the horses that have performed well.
I think it should be put in there.
All right, we're going to put it in there. For me, I want to start with a horse that actually has done well on dirt, and that is the one horse in here, Big Daddy Dave. Big Daddy Dave on that dirt 6 times, been in the money 5 of those, a couple of wins, couple of seconds. That's a pretty good number. The horse is going from route to sprint for Peter Walder. He does win at 23%. That's a pretty decent number there as well. The horse did run some pretty good fractions at a mile last time on the dirt. If you look at the mile fractions, Charles, and this is one of the reasons why I'm surprised this horse is not in your picks. Ran a mile last time, did run some decent fractions in doing that, which is pretty good. And today it's going to cut back to 7 furlongs, Charles. And I thought you liked those horses that make a small cutback after they showed more speed early on.
I do. But this horse,
and it's your favorite handicapping angle, the third off a layoff. I mean, I'm handicapping for you better than you're handicapping.
Yeah, but he's not in. I mean, I think only his last race was in form, and even before that, he was not in form. Let's put it this way: he didn't even make my top 4.
Terry?
Yeah, no, he didn't make my top 4 either. So,
all right,
you know, I didn't. I was looking at that 7 furlong race that he ran before.
Mm-hmm. Which he finished in the money, right? He finished second.
He did, but he still didn't win the race. So.
Race 10, I almost got to go 1 through 5, Charles says. Yeah, I'm worried. To me, I like horses that like the surface that they're running on, and I'm not so sure that and I like ones that win. Anyway, all right, so we're not going to go with the one. The other one that I feel like on dirt that's done, well, I think one we have to consider it hasn't run on dirt yet here is Nick's Bro, because that is the one that's going to likely be your pace setter, according to our early speed numbers. Did run the top last race speed figure. It's going to try dirt for the first time. That's not something that's been unsuccessful for Ralph Nix, because Turf to Dirt is a 24% winner with a positive ROI. The horse does have enough early speed to contend. And if the horse takes to the new surface and has that early speed, I think it could be the one on the front where they might not chase that one down.
Yeah, it's my 4th pick. I like this horse too. So,
Mr.
It's
Charles.
my 4th pick also.
So what are we going to do with it? Are we going to put it off to the side or put it in?
Well, let's put it off to the side until we decide on this 11th race.
All right, guys. Any other horses in race 10 to think about?
What about the 2?
Yeah, the 2.
What? Oh, the 2.
He's in charge.
You guys are in unison on that 2 horse. All right, he's
Yeah.
in charge.
He finished 3rd versus similar in his last race. His best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters and has a trainer who wins 25% of the starts in the first race after claiming a horse.
Good number there for Jose D'Angelo. Absolutely. And you, Charles?
Yeah, it's the same reasons there as me. And I think he's got some of that speed there to could be that sneaky speed to steal it.
I think he has some sneaky speed. I don't think he'll be able to steal it because, well, Tyler Gaffleon couldn't steal it. Paco Lopez couldn't steal it before. Junior Alvarado, you had some pretty good jockeys on this horse. And as I look through its races, the one trend that I see over and over again is fade, 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 fade. Well, this one, it didn't fade because it did close a little bit of ground here. It did close a little bit of ground. It's been a while since this horse has found any kind of late form in a race. Until the horse shows me it's going to reverse form, and maybe Jose D'Angelo has figured out the formula for that horse to reverse form. But I think it's going to have plenty of speed to challenge it up front. And then if it gets pressed, its history says it's going to fold at the end of the race and say, okay, you guys go by me. It's going to have to be on the front, I think clearly on the front. And even here, where it was clearly on the front by a length at the same distance, it ended up in the stretch giving up 3.5 lengths. That one just stops, in my opinion.
Yeah, but he has the speed. I think he could be dangerous in this race overall.
So you guys want to put him in there and see if he doesn't stop, or put him off to the side?
Put him off the side for me.
I think he should be put in there.
You think? Well, I think put him off to the side. 2 out of 3. I think you use your lock, Charles. Terry, you use your lock, right?
Yeah, we could always come back, though.
Yeah.
All right. Any other horses to look at?
No.
All right.
Not
So
for me.
we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like Charles B says here, and we only could settle on 2 because we're all making different arguments. Finally, we're going to get to the last race, race number 11. 1 and 16th mile on the turf. Optional claiming for 62.5. Purse is just 52 grand. At a mile and a 16th on the grass. It's 50-50 on the bias, so you can win from anywhere on the track. Yamato gets the only post position bias. The rail actually gets a little bit of a bonus. Everybody else runs about the same. Charles, all right, go ahead, entertain us. Well, let's go ahead and race number 11, see what we think in terms of the early speed and all the simulation stuff.
Yeah, the 4 has a 38% chance of having that lead at the quarter pole. And then possibly the 7 might have that lead at the quarter pole for a 30% chance. So I think those 2 will be going out there, and I agree with all that. Simulation odds, you have the 3 slightly under 8-1. Morning line's 15-1. You got the 4 slightly over 5-1. You got morning line at 6-1. The 5 slightly over 4-1, and you got 6-1 morning line. And then the 9 slightly over 5-1, and morning line is 20-1.
And then as far as the early speed, the C-zone scores, you got the 1, the 6, and the 9, all with strong C-zone scores. And what all these simulation odds tell me is that this is a very, very competitive start in here, guys. And it's kind of tough to say which horse is going to win here. So I think we're going to need some depth in this race if we get to this far to close it out. What do you think, Terry?
Well, I really like that number 1 horse, Yamato. He's won 2 races in a row and going for a hat trick. And as you know, that's one of my favorite angles. Switches to high percentage winning trainer and the best start speed as fast as among today's starters. And if I hadn't locked my horse earlier, this is one I would have blocked.
Well, looking at that 1 horse, Terry, it does have some of the best late legs in this race. In fact, the top score in there, although all but value proposition do look like they have some good giddy up and go as they're closing in on the final strides. Early on, win for the money. Ooh, that one has a 9-point early speed advantage, competitive on the late speed as well. I think that one scratches, the 10 scratching in this spot might help that one. And it also scores out 5 points better than anybody else on the early speed, late speed combination. So are we going to start with that 1 horse then there, Charles?
Oh, I agree with the 1.
All right. So Charles is agreeing with the 1 horse in there. And all right, so we'll start with the 1. That was actually my 4th pick. I'm okay with the 1, particularly since it does have the only post position bias on the track. Terry, considering what we have right now, how many more horses can we add?
I think we better just finish this race and then worry about cutting the fat instead of.
Well, if we can only add 2 more horses, then we're going to have to battle out which 2 horses they are.
If you add 2 more horses, you'll be up at $86.40.
So we can add 2 more. All right.
Yes.
And I think the depth in this race, guys, we're going to have to add at least 2 more. What do you think? All right. So Charles, Terry gave us his first pick. Who's your first pick? Maybe that's the thing. We'll all go with our first picks and call it a day.
The 8.
The 8 horse?
Yeah.
And why do you like that one?
Ran second the last 2 times. Casey gets 46 plus days for their rest. Solid workouts. He fits this distance. Everything else, he belongs here. Let's put that away.
Definitely going to be closing in here. Fan of Gulfstream Park, particularly the grass. 6 times out, a win, 4 seconds. So not much difference between maybe being 5 out of 6 on there. And then same thing goes for the distance over here. 3 out of 4, a second and a third in there. So been real close. I agree, Terry, on that 8 horse. What do you think?
Yeah, I do too. It's my second pick. I really like Mark Cassie as a trainer. So let's put that one in.
All right. And then the one for me, I think we have to have in here too, is this 4 horse. Win for the money. Hasn't really tried the turf yet, but that all-weather record says that the horse should take to the all-weather. Okay. Been running at a pretty competitive level. Last time out did show some really speed. I do think this one is going to be up near the front on there with that highest last race speed figure. With the 10 scratching, it should have an early pace advantage. Runs well following some rest. You see it did win here. Last time it also came off the bench. It had a win. Second here, 4th by 1 3/4 lengths. So the horse has done well when it had some time to rest in here. I think if there's anyone that's going to get up to the front and go wire to wire in this group, it's going to be Win for the Money. Although I don't know necessarily that Sonny Leone is the best jockey to be up on the front there. But if he gets a little bit off the pace, he's still shown that he can close the deal in here. So I'm afraid if one goes wire to wire, it's going to be the 4. That's the one I like. Gentlemen?
Well, the horse was not in my top 4.
Mine neither.
All right. Charles says race number 9, like the 11, the 9 horse, huge long shot. Cash it with the 9 horse. Let's look at this 9 horse in here. That is California Frolic. Drops in class today. Ooh, coming off that grade 2 performance there. Didn't finish all that far off. Definitely numbers that fit in here. Gulfstream Park has done well. The turf, a little bit interesting in there. Gentlemen, the 9 horse, what do you think?
Well, it did not hit my top 4, but it was my 5th pick.
Yeah, my 5th pick too.
Your 5th pick as well, and it was in there as my 5th pick as well. So that one goes off to the side.
Yeah.
Is there any other horse in here that you guys wanted to talk about?
Number 5, Journeyman.
Yeah.
Number 5, Journeyman. All
Finished
right.
in the Money 4 races out of 6 at Gulfstream Park. Likes the turf, and I like the jockey Chantel Sutherland. So,
Charles, what's your thoughts about the 5?
That was my 3rd choice in this race. Yeah.
All right. And then, so that's your 3rd choice in there. Did run on the all weather. Going to make a second start off a layoff. Maybe some improvement there. So that's one. Well, we got to pick another one to go in here. So that's the other horse I had in my mind. So let's put this one over here. This one is the 5. The other horse I had in my mind was the 3 horse. And that one is, let's look up here at this 3 horse, Eldon's Prince. I know it's been off for a long time. I've been off for more than a year. But if you look at this horse, it came off, did okay in the maiden, then came out in a non-graded stakes race, won by 6. So clearly the horse has some talent, as you can see by the numbers in here. The horse does absolutely have some back class. So if you're worried about the horse's performance, I feel like these workouts in here indicate that the horse is ready to go, Charles, and run. You're the one that likes the workout patterns. What do you see there?
Yeah, I mean, I had him as my 4th choice here. It's a time off and going the distance. That's the only thing for me. But the horse has got nothing but class. So, I think this horse is worth a shot.
Terry?
yeah, no, it was my 5th pick. I actually like the 6 a little bit better than that horse.
All right, so we got all sorts of horses going on here. The 9, the 4, the 5, the 6. As I thought, this race is proving to be pretty much wide open. So, all right, gentlemen, I'll leave it up to you guys to decide which one you want to put in here as our 3rd pick.
Well, it doesn't mean we have to do just 3. We could put 2 in here and cut somewhere else.
Or we can add more if we put 2 here. Just do the 1 and the 8.
We need at least 2 more in this race.
So you think we need at least 2 more in this race? Terry, what do you think? So where are we going to cut?
Yeah, I do. I think we need at least the 5. I like the 5 a lot. And but I think we can go back to the 7th race and cut, or even the 8th race and cut. So
I think we should put 2 in this race. The 5. Well, the 5 and it sounds like the 3 we all agree on for one thing, and the 5, right?
So the 3 is the one we all agree on. You guys aren't concerned at all about getting beat by a horse that goes up front and goes wire to wire when it might not get tested up on the early pace.
You want to hit the all button here then?
Yeah, then what? I'm just saying, to me, I feel like that when you get a horse that gets to the front a lot of times and can do so in an uncontested fashion, many times they get courageous and go wire to wire. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the 4 do that. But I mean, I'm going to leave it up to you guys where else we're going to go here. Or is this it and we're done?
Well, let's put it this way then. I'll make another choice here then. In that 7th race, I'm going to veto the 7.
You're going to veto the 7?
Yeah.
All right. So we take out the 7 there, Terry. And how much do we have now left?
okay, 3-3. Let me check it.
So we got 3-3-3, 2-2, and then 3.
Okay. Am I muted still?
No, sir. You're
Okay.
live.
So if you've got 3-3-2-2-3, then you've got $64.80 that you've spent.
So we want to add another one in race number 11, it looks like.
Now
So-
you could probably even add 2 in here, probably.
all right. So if we add 2, Terry, what happens if we add 2?
Okay, let me do that. put us at 108.
So we can't add 2. We can only add 1.
One puts us at 86.40.
All right. So which one are we adding, guys? I want to add the 4, but I'll leave it up to you guys to decide.
Which one do you want to add, Terry?
Well, Terry said the 5. That's where he was at.
Yeah, I like the 5. So I wouldn't mind adding the 4 and the 5 and going back to the 8th race and eliminating as my veto the 3. No, not the 3. The I hate to do that.
You can't because I locked in the 8.
That's right.
The only horse that you can get out of there is the 3.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Because the 8 is the only horse in this race that showed it can beat the 5.
Yeah. Okay, then I'm going to go back in the 7th and veto the 5.
In the 7th and veto the 5? All right.
Whoa.
Well, I am wearing the green number 5, so I don't know if that's where we want to go. But hey,
all right, then cancel my veto. Then
now you got the veto, Terry. You're allowed to use it, so go ahead, use it.
Oh man,
we're taking out the 5. All right, so we're gonna put now what?
What does that give us?
I have a hard time with that one.
All right, so what are we gonna put?
I'm gonna have to make that my lock then.
You haven't locked the horse yet?
No, I have not. I have a hard time with that one.
All right. Well, there we go. Veto got overridden by a lock. So we have one more horse. We have one more horse in race number 11. So go ahead and pick it. Race number 11. He says, Charles B says it's a Brisnet top pick. Make it your price play. You know what? We're going to give the voice of Charles B a call. I'm making an executive decision. It is the 9, because if it does win, we're going to end up getting paid a lot of money.
All right. That's fine.
All right. So everybody has a voice in here. That's just the way this community works.
I'll go on the record and say I'm against it.
All right. Well, you can go ahead and do so. But when it wins, you then get any credit for it. So there is our team pick 6. Terry, how much is the cost here? $86, did you say?
$86.40.
$86.40. And it was a lot of work to get there, folks. We hope that it's the winner once again, where we don't have to contend with one another. In the hot dog, there's Charles's pick 6 for $19.20. There's Terry's for $16. There's mine for $19.80. Left 20 cents on the table. Yeah. Prime Rib pick 4, where we get to spend $100 without the other ones throwing our horses out. Charles spent $96, as did Terry. I think we all went with the same dollar amount.
I got my 5. So.
And there we have $96 as well. So that is our hot dog, prime rib, and team pick 6s. And of course, with a little bit of input from new team member, Charles B. All right, gentlemen, it's been an hour and a half of fun debates. I could tell Charles was getting a little agitated with me at the end there, but that's all right, Charles.
I wasn't agitated. It's just
I'm used to it.
Guys got to make up a decision somehow.
All right. Any final thoughts before we get up and out of here today, guys?
Yeah. If you like what you saw here today, go to YouTube and subscribe and hit that little bell. That way you'll get notified on any other programs that we have coming up. We have lots of programs. We have Monday through Thursdays and Fridays, and also in the evenings, Monday through Wednesday. We're going to have a Derby preview for the Derby, and also the
Derby Oaks double on
Thursday. Oaks double, yeah, on Thursday night. And also go to our social sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at the horse race, the number 2 day. Give us a like, a Facebook, let everybody know about it. We want to get to everybody so that they get a chance to make a decision whether they like what they see or they don't. And thanks a lot to Charles B., Christopher DeSouza, also to anybody else that's chimed in and watched us today.
Yes, indeed. Roke 922, Rex coming in with a hello to Charles, but Charles B., I think the two knew each other there as well. And then today, if you're going to do Delta Downs, it is the free track. I think that runs a little bit later on in the day over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. You can catch that in the description down below. If you're going to bet baseball today, our good friend Picks with the Professor, also a link down there below, using his statistics to find angles in baseball games. And of course, this upcoming, as Terry mentioned, is the Kentucky Derby week. We'll have all of our information available at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. fact, we're running a promotion right now. You're going to get all the Triple Crown races, our wagering guides. Terry, you see the wagering guides. How much information goes into those?
Oh, lots. It's really good information too. A lot of things that I see in there, not only presently but in the past, that made me look at other horses pretty carefully and help me to win some of the bets.
Yes, indeed. So that'll be a lot of fun. It's a half off, and it's the Triple Crown plus the Breeders' Cup. You get all the picks for those days and the wagering guides for those days. And it's a good deal. Again, you'll find that down in the description below. Please hit that link so they know where you're coming from. Charles, your final thoughts before we roll out of here today.
All good here. I mean, everyone just be safe out there. That's all I can say.
Terry and I will be back on Monday, right, Terry? You and I at about 11:30 or 12:30 a.m. 12:30 p.m. to cover Parks Monday and Tuesday. Charles will return, and we'll hit Gulfstream. We'll hit Churchill as soon as that's available, so we can get a sense of what that track is running like. Until then, folks, we hope that no matter what you're doing, no matter what kind of debates you're having with your friends, that you sure do have God's grace, and that every single thing you do ends up in
the winner's circle.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us. Have a fantastic weekend. And I got a feeling we'll be trying to pick this pick six again tomorrow. Take care.